Hey, good morning. Granny Gear here for Old Guy on a Bike. If you've been paying attention to bike packing at all, you'll notice that racks and panniers are really becoming a popular choice for bike packers instead of going with the full soft bag route. Well, there's some good reasons for that. I'm going to take a look at a new product from Old Man Mountain. I want to show that to you. All right, let's get going on this quick Tech Tuesday video. You know, Old Man Mountain, those guys make some really nice quality products that let you get out and go bike packing, touring, adventuring on your bike and carry stuff with you and do it well. Well, this is the new Hemlock system and it fits really well into this new kind of genre of small to very, I don't even know if I'll call them medium size. I don't know how that would be. I would say they're more towards small sized panniers, which keeps things agile and kind of compact and yet keeps when mounted to a rack or mounted to the front of a fork on a 3-pack mount. These things keep the weight kind of low and makes your bike nice and steady and stable. That is a good thing. But the Hemlock system is kind of unique because I have used a set of panniers. I'll show you a picture of it. I used a set of panniers from Old Man Mountain. I forget the name of them. I'll put that up on the screen because my memory is not what it used to be, if it ever was any good at all. I'll put that up on screen. Now I like those. They work really well. I think they are about 10 liters. These are 7 liters per bag. So a little smaller. And what I didn't like so much with the ones I used, you couldn't really take them off. You could take them off the rack. Man, it was a lot of trouble to do it. So if you just want to like take them off and you're putting your bike on a bus, you want to keep your bags with you, you want to bring your bags into a room, you want to bring your bags into your tent or whatever, you know, taking those off was a big faff, to use a word. Well, the Hemlock system kind of changes all that. We're going to take a look at that right now. This is what is mounted to the rack behind me, and I'll show you pictures of that. That is part of the Hemlock system. Now this is, if you recognize it, it's drilled for a 3-pack mount. And you would say, well, it looks like part of an anything cage. Well, you would actually be more correct than you know. Now this is made of some kind of injection molded nylon-y plasticky thing, but I'm telling you, I can't, even twisting it, I can barely get this thing to flex. It looks tough as nails. And it comes with a little bitty footy right here. Now the little footy is kind of interesting because if I put this together like that, okay, and then the 3rd screw hole holds it in, now what you have is what you recognize as, oh, that looks like an anything cage. And that's what it is. So the mount for the bag is this, I'll show you that in a minute. And then if you're not using the bag, but you have the mount somewhere, well, you just remove a screw, put that on, put the screw back in on the bottom, and now you've got an anything cage. So maybe you don't want panniers for the day, but you want to put an Nalgene bottle or your sleeping pad or whatever on here, your little kitchen. Well, so the mount does double duty. And I think, you know, they didn't have to do that, but what a cool idea. So let's take a look at the bag itself. Here's one of them. It's all folded up. The bottom material of this, it's kind of it's a rubberized, and it looks very durable because the bottom is where you're going to scrape it. You know, you're going to pick it up. Maybe you're going to set it down. It's going to get roughed up. This looks pretty tough. The top, indeed, it's more of a, you know, fabric-y kind of material, but still waterproof, of course, and it's got a roll top function on it. We'll look at this one. It's all stuffed up. And let's take a look at the back and let's look at how it mounts and dismounts from the bike. Now I've got about, I don't know, 6 t-shirts and a flannel long sleeve stuffed in this bag. And it's just to kind of give it its shape, but it holds a fair amount. I mean, if you had 2 of these plus maybe a bar bag and some low mounts, you know, and a frame bag, you're carrying quite a bit of stuff. Now let's take a look at the back of it. Now you can see it has some more of the injection molded kind of stuff on it. It's got these little hooked feet, like little eagle's claws. And then it's got this little rotating part right here, okay? Now, what you do is you mount this on a 3-pack mount. In this case, I have it on a Old Man Mountain Elkhorn rack. That's behind me. It's just mocked up on Project Curly too. It's not really mounted, so don't pay attention to the brackets and stuff. I just stuck it on there. So what you do, let me get around here, you can see a little bit better. What you do is, the little hooked feet, they kind of go right in 2 notches right here. If you can see that right there, right? And then this little top part, that fits right in there. So now this is all mounted to your frame or your rack or your lowrider mount or whatever. And then you take this, so it's a little hard to do when I'm holding it. It's easier when it's mounted to the bike, but then you just take this little lever and you cam it over. And now these two are locked together really, really well. It takes a fair amount of force to pull this over. When I'm holding this bag in my hand, it's hard. When it's on the bike itself, it's just a firm movement. It isn't that big a deal. And then you just release it and they separate just like that. Easy peasy. And that is the Hemlock system. Now, if you want to put these bags on the front of your bike, you certainly can. A lot of the Carbon Adventure forks, they have 3-pack mounts on them. You do have to pay attention to what the manufacturer says, what the weight limit, because a lot of carbon forks, they got a weight limit on how much you can actually put on those mounts. If it's a metal fork, it's probably less of a problem. If I were to use it on a suspension fork, Old Man Mountain makes their, what do they call it, their axle pack. I think that's what it's called. I'll put that on and I'll show you a picture of it. But that allows you to, by using your through axle, replacing your through axle with their own axle kit, it allows you to put basically a heavy duty 3-pack mount on a suspension fork. That would carry these Hemlock bags really, really well. So if you wanted 2 sets of these, you could mount 2 in front, 2 in back. That would give you a lot of storage and leave the top of your rack for, I don't know, whatever else you need to put back there, a trunk bag or maybe your sleeping bag or something. And like I said, I think a set of these and a frame bag and the rack top and maybe a little handlebar bag. Wow. So I'm getting ready to do a whole new bike packing setup. I played around with Project Curly last time and I've added some more things to it, but things got a little interrupted and that's because this frame was just not working out for me, which is a whole nother thing outside of the Hemlock system. It's a neat system. I'm looking forward to using it. Thanks to Old Man Mountain for sending this out to me at no cost so I can show it to you and I can use it. All right, you guys, have a great week and/or weekend. And as always, you go ride your bikes and maybe think about doing it with a set of the Old Man Mountain Hemlock bags.